Hope your week's doing great. Here's the best moments from...
Said you wanted to talk about the red flags in a relationship.
Yes, because
Bakit?
I haven't had a lot of experience with red flags before, but I hear a lot about it from my friends. And I wanted to ask you, have you ever dated someone na siguro crush na crush mo siya before, you know, you really wanted to ask her out, and then finally when you're out on a date, parang, okay, red flag, hindi na ito mauulit.
Yeah, marami naman talaga instances. And I'm sure even for you, even without like dating someone, hindi naman sabihin natin red flag, pero instant turn-offs.
I wanted to know, like, what is your red flag sa mga babae?
Sa akin, if the relationship is too, I would say jealous. Well, ganito siya. It seems like a red flag looking back at it. Pero while you're in that relationship,
Di mo nakikita.
hindi mo nakikita kahit nakikita ng lahat.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, klarong-klaro na siya, pero may ano tayo may pagkamartir.
Yeah,
So-
I guess. Or like, love is blind talaga. Nabubulag ka, hindi lang physically, minsan emotionally, minsan intellectually. Pag gustong-gusto mo yung tao, nabubulag ka talaga, no?
Yes. Or like parang, bahala na. It's us against the world. Like for example, if she was acting jealous, like, oh yeah, dapat naman talaga siya ma-jealous kasi mahal na mahal niya ako eh.
Sometimes
Parang
you justify
ganyan.
it.
Oo.
Yeah. I think number one red flag ko siguro is honesty. Like if he can't be honest with you or she can't be honest with you at the start of the date or at the start of you guys building a relationship together, that's supposed to be the honeymoon phase,
Yes.
right? That's supposed to be the no problems, I'm blind to all of these red flags phase. And you're already lying to each other.
Yes.
I feel like that's a total red flag. I also feel like the start of the relationship is the easiest to be honest with each other because there's nothing there yet. So you kind of have to lay all the cards on the table first to see if it works. There's nothing underlying. There's no strings attached yet. I remember before we started dating, love, you were super honest with me about your past.
Yeah.
To the point that I wasn't even asking and then you were telling me and I was like, wait, I took a moment to think about it. Right? Like I considered it before I went in the relationship.
Yeah.
And so I already know what I'm getting into.
Oh.
You know, it's not like, okay, I'm so in love with you and then you hit me with a bomb, right?
Oh.
It's like bomb first. Gusto mo pa or hindi? Kasi pwede kang mag-walk away. Wala pang, di pa tayo na in love. Okay lang.
Yeah.
Diba? So I appreciate that. I appreciate knowing a lot about you before I was even interested.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say, imagine if I hid a lot of things from you.
And then you
I
give
hid
it to
my
me
past.
slowly.
Tapos, nandun na tayo, boyfriend, girlfriend na
Yeah.
tayo. And then, I'm in a relationship with this guy that I really don't know.
Yeah.
Or, nabenta ako sa, nabudol ako. Essentially. Di ba?
Yeah.
So parang, ito na yung mga skeletons in my closet.
Yes.
Take it for what it is. Because if I really want a long-term relationship with you,
Peace of mind mo na rin yun.
Oo.
Nasabi mo na lahat.
Pero sabihin natin, kung diskarte lang na parang short-term relationship or yung parang I'm just being a player, edi, I show you my best side. Bahala ka na. But you know what? Ito yung experience ko. I feel like you're more attractive as a person when you show the sides wherein you're vulnerable. When, for example...
It depends.
No, especially when it comes to like, we're talking about like mga GGSS
Okay.
na mga lalaki or babae. Like,
When you seem perfect, when you project na perfect
when it seems
ka.
too perfect, it parang meron siyang konting, ano kaya to? Or
Yeah.
nawawala yung pagiging human ng isang tao.
Yeah.
Let's say for example, a Piolo Pascual, a Brad Pitt, like parang, pero parang, like, looking at them from afar, they're perfect. But let's say for example, they were vulnerable enough and you were dating and they were vulnerable enough to tell you, ito yung mga insecurities ko. You know what? Ito yung pinagdaanan ko ngayon, ganyan. Di ba mas malalim yung tingin mo sa kanila? Because
Yeah.
there's a level of dimensionality na nadadagdag.
Yes. No, I completely agree. And I feel like being honest with your partner is like the first thing you have to do in any relationship, right? Because
Yeah.
once you lose that honesty,
Yeah.
it's just downhill from there. Like there's no way you can build that trust up again, right?
These types of things that wherein we say red flags is actually just boundaries that we are willing or not willing to give up.
Yes.
So, in some cases, some people, pag late ka, ayaw ko na talaga. I feel very disrespected because
Yeah. You
you're
don't
late,
value my
etc.,
time.
etc. So, I feel like it's a definition also of your boundaries.
Like you have to define it yourself.
Oo. And
Yeah.
if your boundaries are easily eroded, I think I said this in the past podcast na if sabihin ko, ayoko ng taong nalilate. And then, paminsan, sige, pagbigyan ka na, pagbigyan ko na. Eh di meaning, hindi yun boundary. Hindi mo siya boundary. It's just your ideal. If it's like a true boundary na...
You can't move it.
Sa akin, like, if you're dishonest with me,
That's it.
that's it. That's really it. With any relationship, like work relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, if you're dishonest to me, hindi talaga, it's not gonna fly. And that's something I tell everyone in this household. Like, if I can't trust you with 1 peso, I won't trust you with my child. So parang ganyan.
I feel like all of these red flags are very important, not just to talk about, but to actually, excuse me, to actually realize because, sometimes we're so blinded in a relationship, we're so in love, now we tend to overlook these red flags. But I always like to think of it as, for example, 20 years old ka. Let's say you live until you're 100 if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So you have 80 years of your life left to spend with this person who you flagged at 20 na may red flag. Tapos, okay, dishonest siya sa'yo. You can't trust this person because he did A, B, C. For 80 years of your life, you're willing to put up with that.
Yeah.
Diba? That's what I always think to myself. Like, will you be willing to put up with this for the rest of your life, suffer through this, be stressed about it, mag-anxiety ka every time you look at a cell phone or he treats you a certain way? Are you willing to let yourself live that life? Willing ka ba? Yeah. So I feel like red flags are super important to spot early on and listen to your friends and family talaga.
Yeah. I think, especially when it comes to relationships na you are very emotionally charged, kailangan may outside perspective tayo. But,
Someone you can really trust who's looking out for you in your best interest.
yeah, palagi natin sinasabi to, pero sa totoo, ang hirap
Ang
talaga
hirap,
gawin.
yeah.
But if ang dami ng tao nagsasabi at paulit-ulit na, parang that should be a very, very big signal.
The point lang is, we're really blinded when we're in love, but it's super important to listen to those around us.
Yes, but ito din yung yung side note. Life isn't black and white.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of people told you, is later, may mga red flags din to.
Yeah.
When you were starting to date me.
Yeah.
So parang,
Pero may defense ka
because
always.
they are looking at it also from a perspective of they saw me na parang
In your skeletons. Doing your skeletons.
yeah,
Sounds so bad.
in that sense, or like parang the people that said these things about me didn't really know me.
Right.
So pwede rin siya, and like parang I would say ganito kasi yung buhay. Buhay is kind of like a poker game, or parang you're playing the odds. Sometimes these red flags more often than not are right. But meron mga 5%, 10% chance na baka hindi talaga to totoo. So it's about learning or trying to discover what is real. Taking a step back and seeing if this is real for me or not. Or I'm giving this guy a chance. Sige, bigyan natin ng chance. Pero I want him to be totally honest with me, open up to me, and then parang we'll have a conversation. We'll have or parang ini-investigate ko siya a little bit. Be a little bit critical.
But a lot of the times when we experience these things, and we mentioned earlier, we really don't see it for what it is. We need somebody looking at it from outside to objectively tell us, hey, this is a red flag. Kasi minsan, if we're dating that person,
Yes.
it's hard for us to see. Kasi syempre, we want them to like us. We want to like them. Nag-effort na tayo. Nasa date na tayo. Diba?
Yes.
So, my advice is, especially with my friends, is always listen to your family and friends. Di naman all the time, but at least take their opinions into consideration. Because more often than not, they're looking out for your best interests. Diba?
And it takes a certain level of maturity to actually get there. So that's why it's so hard. It's so easy to say na, avoid red flags. But
kasi tapos na
ang
tayo.
daming dimensions. Ang
Yeah.
daming, life isn't one plus one.
Life isn't red or green flags.
Yeah, actually.
But you're my green
Paminsan may
flag.
mga yellow
Rose.
flag.
You're my green flag.